Welcome to Above the Garage.
Hi, friends. Welcome to our discussion of Season 4, Episode 5 of Industry. Let's do our round of introductions and dive in.
Hi, I'm Aubrey.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Hi, I'm Raquel.
And I'm Kate. This episode is entitled Eyes Without a Face. It was directed by Luke Snellen, written by Joseph Charlton, and the cinematographer is Adam Lyons. The episode opens up with Eric and his ex-wife Candace bickering over who is to blame for their daughter being expelled from school. The reason we later learn is truly terrible and warrants this parental guilt. Candace blames it on Eric's absence in their daughter's life, throwing money at them rather than time and love, and she also throws in a dig about his young girlfriend in New York. And Eric points out it was Candace that ended their marriage, not him. Obviously, there's no winner here, just misery and guilt abound.
I keep wondering where the other daughter is.
Yeah, me too. I assume this is the same one that we saw earlier in the season.
That's a good point, because I think I thought that when she came to visit, and I'm like, weren't there twins? Is there?
Yeah.
Where's the other one?
Well, the other one is very successful, I guess. That was like referenced, right? Better at school and sports and all the things.
So this is the problem child.
Yeah, I guess. But it is interesting that we have not seen anything of her.
Yeah, like later when the mom and the one daughter stay over, and where's the
other one?
Right. Yeah.
Maybe they have her staying with other family or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Do they live in the UK?
I think so.
Well, obviously they go to school there, yeah. I just presume that like the other twin missing maybe because of the actress probably doesn't want to do two roles and she's not probably a twin. So
right.
They had them when they were younger, right? They have to.
They had two. They were sitting at the table once being like, when Eric was on leave from work, and they're like, when are you getting out of here? They basically like didn't want him there. It was kind of funny.
That fits.
That fits.
Back at the hotel office, Kitty is informing them that their trade is doing so poorly because tender stock has just been going up and up that Deutsche is going to have to margin call them, which will mean closing their trade at a massive loss. Much to Quabena's shock, we learn that Harper's been buying time already by liquidating his other trades, which were actually doing well, without his permission or knowledge. Kenny's somehow buying them 2 days, maybe 3, before they officially margin call, close the trade, and lose all of Eric's money and much more on top of that. Harper's been offered to speak at a conference panel. Eric insists she goes. They need the spotlight. She was planning on going to a craw with Sweet Pea, but then 180s on that mid-scene after getting a phone call from her brother. And suddenly she agrees with Eric. It would be irresponsible of her to leave right now. So they send Quabena with her instead, which seems like it should have been the choice from the get-go since he apparently used to go to a craw 4 times a year. And then the other big reveals in this scene are that Diker is indeed dead. You were right, Raquel.
Yeah, you called that.
Good medical diagnosis.
He looked pretty dead.
Yeah, he did.
I rewatched it with Michael the day after. Like, he looks really, really dead.
That's crazy. People think he's alive.
I think we're all just so used to people just not being dead, though. You know, like
On
shows
TV,
ending on a
yeah.
cliffhanger. And then
Especially for an overdose. I feel like that's something that we're used to seeing people be revived from somehow.
Yeah.
But they were cops. They weren't medics.
I feel like that's more of an American thing. Like, I think British shows usually...
You're dead?
Commit.
Yeah, I think so. They'd be more realistic.
Come on. What about like EastEnders and Corey? Do people come back from the dead?
Oh, God, no. But I don't class it as an actual TV show. That's just rubbish.
Also, Rishi is in jail for manslaughter, which pleases Sweet Pea very much. That's where she wanted him. Doesn't matter how he gets himself there. Yeah. Also, before I forget, I just want to say Sweet Pea is played by Miriam Pecci, and I just think she's so fantastic this whole episode.
Incredible.
I'm obsessed with her. She's so good.
Yeah, I'm ready to just look up everything she's ever been in and just spend a weekend doing like a Miriam Pecci marathon because she's so great.
Oh man, that's such a good idea.
She deserves it. I don't think I paid her much attention last year, but like this season she's been, last season, sorry.
Yeah.
In season 3.
She had some good moments last season with she was starting to investigate Pierpoint too, and she was digging into...
That's true.
Right.
So she was already showing that she was good at this stuff.
She's good at this.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that, but because I mostly saw her as a background character last season, and I'm really glad that they've kept her on and gave her a much bigger role this season because you're right, she's incredible.
Yeah, she's very good at this investigative investing thing. I like it.
I love how this whole episode, well, for the most part, was such a like procedural thriller.
Yeah.
It's like a murder mystery now.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah, I
good.
know.
Yeah.
I love how, but like both this season and last season, because last season had the episode with Rishi that was like the gambling,
Mm.
spiraling, and all of that. It's like both these seasons have this standalone episode that has its own whole style to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fun little mid-season break to go on a side quest.
I like that. And then it's just Eric and Harper alone, verbally running through their options, which they soon realize are approximately none. Eric gives her shit for liquidating Kwabina's positions, and in return, Harper's quite cruel to Eric, hitting him where she knows it hurts, and telling him his daughters don't love him, and wouldn't even if he left them all the money in the world. She screams at him that he's worthless and unable to give love because he knows it. Fun times. That scene was painful.
Yeah, that was rough. I mean, he's so right, though. That was such a shitty move of Harper to do that to Kwabena.
Yeah, and again, they're the only trades that are
Profitable.
that are working, and it's
Mhm.
the only thing diversifying their fund right now, and it's insane to let go of that. But yeah, it's just shitty too, right?
Mhm.
She doesn't really explain it either. Like she just obviously gets defensive, and just her only reaction to things like that is just to attack personally
Mhm.
Right.
everybody else, even though he's right.
Yeah.
It just shows that she's just fumbling again, and it was really like shocking to me that she's like, "Oh, what experience do you bring?
$10 million?
Like, what do you bring, Carl?" They're like, "What experience do you have?" Like, none.
I
Right.
know.
And what you did was completely wrong. Like, yeah, it makes no sense. You've not explained why you done it. Like,
Yeah.
what was that about? Like, it didn't really. Well, I don't know. Was Eric in on it? It didn't seem like he knew what was
No,
going
it
on.
didn't sound like
Mm-mm.
it.
She just does things. That's the thing, is she does all these things without talking to anybody, or she can't work with a team. She just
Right.
is like the dictator of this business and does whatever she wants.
Yeah.
And actually doesn't see any problem with it. Even when people call her out on it, she's just like, yeah, well, I did what I needed to do. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, but he was trying to help you. He was trying to help your business. So
Right.
Yeah.
And she, like Raquel said, she personally attacks in response to any actual business. Like, you should have a business discussion right now, but instead your daughters hate you and you're unlovable. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. All right. So still doesn't solve our problems.
Right. And he said, like, how is that an appropriate seg? And I was taking it as like, you shouldn't attack me personally, but not really. Like, genuinely, like, you need to have this business conversation.
right.
I was just going to point out the consent thing, because she keeps justifying, saying that it's the only thing keeping them afloat was liquidating Kwabina's positions, but without his knowledge. Like, they were his, and she does this behind his back. So it's at least a conversation, but I don't know, because they are drowning. I mean, they need a lifeboat, I guess, but
Right. Even if it had to be done, I think he should have been informed at a bare
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah.
Not find out on the phone with Kenny.
Not just him, everybody else, because they're a team.
Yeah.
right.
But I think it's just like she knows that they're going to push back because nobody else agrees completely with how
Just running things.
like single-minded she is about this. So
Gosh, it's insane.
right. So it's like if I tell him ahead, I mean, not that she even thought this through. I don't think she even did. I think she just acts impulsively. But
She never does.
if she had thought, maybe I'll tell him, then the next thought would have been, yeah, but he's just going to push back. So why?
Right.
I'm just going to do it because
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I want anyway, you know?
It's just unbearable to work with somebody like that.
Yeah,
And she's never changed. It's crazy. Or gotten worse.
for sure. I think in the part where they're talking about Jim Diker's death, they say his Coke was laced with fentanyl.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's important.
So I guess he got Coke from Rishi that was laced with fentanyl, but then how did Rishi get the Coke? Because obviously Rishi didn't know about it.
Did it get it from Rishi? I thought somehow the guy at the not the party, but the guy in the apartment was the one who provided that cocaine.
Right.
So when they're sitting at the table, they're sitting on the floor at the coffee table. They're out of drugs, and Rishi hands him a little packet.
Yeah.
It's like a little silver packet that looked like the ones that he was selling out of his car earlier,
It was darker though.
like a darker color packet. But it was something
Yeah,
that
'cause I
Rishi
feel like the ones in the
handed.
car, it was white. Yeah, it was the same sort of like packaging. I did remember that. Also, we don't know where it came from, and
We
then
don't
he
know where
goes
it
into the
came from.
bathroom and he has like a whole bag.
Does his private Coke. So it's like, why
Yeah.
did he know to not do that Coke? But then he acted surprised by the fact that Jim.
Overdose.
No, I don't think Rishi did it. I still
Uh-uh.
think that Whitney did it through that
Well, yeah,
random person.
Yeah.
I think Whitney did it through someone. I'm just wondering if it was like, I don't know. Maybe it's just that they don't know where it came from, and Rishi was the only one at the scene, and that's why he's being charged.
Right.
I even wonder if Rishi was also supposed to be targeted too. It's just that he had his own clean Coke in the bathroom
Right.
Yeah.
hidden in the toilet. So he like went in there and
Yeah, exactly.
did a hit and then came back out and Diker was dead.
So he just
Yeah.
passed.
Yeah.
He passed over the coke that was the other
Right
guy's
in front
because
of
he had
him.
his own.
Presumably, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes
I
sense.
mean, it's the only thing that would explain him not dying because I think they
Yeah.
were both doing a lot of coke.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's interesting that they sort of showed that they were doing different types of cocaine
Right.
at the
Yeah,
end.
exactly. Purposefully.
It'll be incredibly hard for Rishi to prove that it wasn't his that he gave him.
Well, he might not even know, though.
Right.
Mhm.
Would he
Exactly.
know where the cocaine?
No, he wouldn't, but he's being charged with manslaughter. So I'm saying that it's going to be
Yeah.
hard for him to prove that he didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, he's probably going down, but as Sweet Pea said,
But I don't know if he would know that his cocaine wasn't the one that caused Jim's death.
it's just where the cocaine came from, and we can't really know that, right?
Yeah.
It could have
No.
come from that guy, the random guy.
I don't know if we might see Rishi again trying to defend himself, and we
Yeah,
might find
Probably.
more about it, but
Right.
we don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see him again.
When Harper was on the phone with her brother, there was some good interspersed background talk where Kobina, I think it was in that moment, was saying about how you acquire coke on the internet, and he was like, "Not that I've done it,
Yeah.
but you'd use an onion router," and which I had to look up, which
Right,
is
right.
like
Right.
anonymous router, but
Yeah.
I love that sprinkled in
Agreed.
bits and comedy and
Yeah. You literally have to have the subtitles on so you can hear what they're saying in the background
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
it's all relevant. But he said that he didn't think that coke bought off the black web would be laced with fentanyl.
Exactly, yeah. I think it's just everybody speculating of where did it come from. Like they
Yeah.
haven't
Yeah.
completely put it together yet.
Right.
Also, when Eric is sitting there, is he in his robe again?
He's always in his robe.
He's always in his robe.
I can't remember if it was specifically the scene, but in this episode, he's in his robe a lot.
I just kind of assume that he's in it.
But in this one, he was wearing trousers.
More
Okay.
often than not, he was wearing his robe. I'm like, you share this space with other people and you're not related to them.
Yeah, well, what's crazy is the only time that I'm remembering him like at night in his pants and shirt is when his wife and daughter are there. But when Harper's there, he's just like robe.
Robe. Let me just sit here and spread my legs a little bit in a really gross way.
Cool.
It's really
Yeah.
bothering me.
Oh.
He was wearing clothes when the others were there, though.
That's true. That's true. It's just around Harper. Weird.
And in this specific scene, he was wearing like pajama trousers.
Okay.
Okay.
He doesn't in the other one when they were sitting by the window. He's
Right.
Yeah, right.
Well, but I think it was I can't remember which episode, Harper was like, she made some kind of a joke about how their expense account was just club sandwiches and something else. And you literally see him eating a club sandwich like it's in front of him. I thought that was a nice callback.
Yeah. Eric goes up to the roof after that conversation to tell one of his presumable escorts not to call him again. Guess he'd set up a meetup and Harper managed to change his mind through that conversation. Was that your take?
Yeah. It seemed like he was about to call his daughter because he was hovering over Lily on his phone
Okay.
when the call came through. So I felt like it was related to him just spiraling, thinking about his daughter and then thinking like, I need to shut this down,
Okay,
you
cool.
know, in that moment. Because then obviously he calls her later. So
That makes sense. And now Kobina and Sweet Pea are in Ghana. I was very excited about this being the focus of the episode. They banter as they stroll out of their hotel, Kwabena being his usual upbeat self, despite being pretty pessimistic on the odds of their success, which earns him an eye roll from Sweet Pea as they part. And she assures him she'd be happy not to see him again on this trip. Her heart's not in it, though. Their chemistry is too good.
mhm.
And I also love Kwabena. I have been in love with him since Ted Lasso. His name is Toheeb Jamo, and I continue to adore him in this show. He's so good.
Yeah, he's really good. I didn't make that connection either right away to Ted Lasso. I was like, oh, right. Yeah.
I hate to admit that I did not from the outside either, but I did like him from the beginning, and now I realize it's because I love Sam.
yeah, same.
It's a good character too, because he's one of the ones who doesn't feel quite as shady as the others.
Yeah,
Like him
exactly.
and Sweet Pea both are
Right.
kind of like best of the worst. Like they're not bad. I can't think of anything they've done yet that would be too
Right.
shady or corrupt or backstabby.
Yet might be the operative word here, but I hope not.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
that.
It's like on a bubble.
Yeah, we'll see. They love to like give some background where they destroy the character's
Mhm.
Yeah.
reputation, whatever.
Back in London, we finally get to learn the cost of Towstern's hotel office, $100,000 a month. And he's worried about Kwabena's room service. Insanity.
Like $3,300 a night.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh my God.
What are we doing?
And she doesn't even have a room there. Like, it's just his room because he's sleeping on the couch later when his daughter and wife are there.
Right.
It's so crazy to me. They could just get an office.
They could literally rent an office for so much cheaper than that, like a nice office, you'd think.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a very fancy part. Or they're in London, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's very expensive, but still.
He just likes his luxuries.
He does, yes. And his robe. They must have really nice robes there. Finally, though, it's a scene that highlights both of their humanity, of which I needed a reminder. Shell-shocked Harper tells Eric that her mom has just died, so that's what her brother called about yesterday, and why she stayed instead of going to Accra. She also notably did not travel to her mother, though, since she was apparently still alive after her fall last night. She died overnight, and Harper can't quite figure out how she feels about it, how she should feel about it, or if it's okay to just feel empty. The emptiness isn't sitting well with her, though. But her mom was complicated. On top of her mom's many transgressions, Harper reveals here that she blames her mom for making Harper's brother unable to love Harper anymore, when his love was what she survived on as a child. And I'm not saying it's not true that this was somehow her mom's fault, but given that she refuses to accept accountability for literally anything in her life, I'm really curious what all happened between her and her brother. I remember feeling very sad for her in the scenes with her brother last season, after she tried so hard to find him, and I guess maybe feeling like it didn't seem she deserved that harsh treatment.
They both had a very different view on what happened to the brother and her.
Yeah, what do you remember?
The brother was basically like, you were like always selfish. And when the brother was going through some stuff with his football career, I think it was his football career, right? It was like Harper was not, she was pushing him the way that the mom was. And he felt like they were both pushing him to do things that he was uncomfortable with. I can't remember if it was anxiety or if he just didn't want to do it anymore. And they were really like, he felt ganged up on by his mom and his sister, I guess, and felt like they were selfishly wanting him to achieve something that was what they wanted for him and not what he wanted.
See, I believe that about her.
Yeah,
that tracks with what we've seen of her character so far.
It was pretty harsh. I mean, obviously she cares a lot about him, but I felt something for both of them in that scene where he tells her that. Yeah, I'm sad about Harper, but also, like you said, Kate, I believe what he's saying. And so she needs to reevaluate how she sees herself and apologize, but she couldn't, so...
Because he was pointing out how narcissistic she could be and making everything about herself. Because in that same conversation, she was throwing at him that it was because of him that she failed her exam.
That's right, yeah.
Didn't graduate. And he says, you see how you're making this all about you. Like he was like, even right there, she was proving what he was saying. And she wasn't even making that connection.
Both that and like Kate said, and like Eric said, I think at the beginning of the season, that she needs to find someone to blame for everything.
Yeah.
So even her school, back to that exam, it was like, not my fault, it's your fault because I was distracted by you.
Yeah.
She had a panic attack because
you wouldn't talk to me.
Because of what happened with him.
Yeah.
It's so extreme. I don't know. The way she phrased it in this conversation, like my mom made it impossible for my brother to love me. However it was, I was just like, that doesn't feel, that doesn't feel accurate.
That's not the story he said.
That's clearly the way she sees it, yeah.
Right.
Whether that's true, and again, we don't know.
But it did sound like, I'm going back to the conversation she had with her brother, because it sounded like they both had issues with their mother, right?
Yes.
So there could be truth in it.
I do think the mother sucks, for sure. Or was not probably the best mother. But it just, all of this fits so well with her character as we know it at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like she has more culpability in whatever happened between her brother and her than she's taking.
It seemed like Harper sort of took on some of the mom's less desirable characteristics, partly in an effort to best her mom. Do you know what I mean? Like, 'cause she was saying in this that she wanted her mom to apologize because of how great Harper had become.
Yeah.
Like, that she was undeniable and stuff. And it's like,
right.
Okay, that kind of seems like you're behaving similarly to the way your mom was.
Yeah, that's a good point.
To push back. So that seemed like what the brother was implying too.
Yeah.
It also made me wonder, with her talking about the lack of love in her life, that maybe this is part of why she's turned into such a cold person.
Yeah.
And why she's become so ruthless.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. Again, like, I feel like she fully took that on after her brother cut her off, Like, I feel like she was still having a little bit of an internal battle about some of the worst parts of her character before that. And then the moment he was like, shut her out, she just went all in on the ignoring morality or other things.
Right.
Yeah. To me, just because this conversation really reminded me of her conversation with Yaz in episode 2. She says to Yaz in episode 2, all of this stuff is not going to get you the respect that you think you deserve. And her conversation with Eric in this scene that we're discussing, it just sounded like she's been doing all of these to sort of achieve that respect from peers, from the people above her, her mom, but ultimately it seems like it's for her that she wants to be above everybody else.
Right.
So she, as he says, is undeniable, because I do think she's got a lot of like issues with self-love, and I don't think she feels enough.
Right.
And
Overcompensates.
it's part of why it doesn't matter. Like she says, like she's empty and she doesn't feel anything. And as you were just discussing, that she's a very cool person. I just feel like she is missing a lot, and she's trying to sort of fill this void
Right.
with these moments of power.
Right.
Yeah, but even if she succeed, and she may succeed, it's going to go her way at the end of the episode, right? But
It seems that way.
I can't imagine it actually being fulfilling or
Fulfilling,
fixing anything
exactly,
about
yeah.
her. And he kind of says that later, so.
It just doesn't feel like she's actually self-acknowledging that there is a problem with who she is.
Right.
Right.
Like she was saying it in this scene, but in a way it's more like, it's my mom's fault that I'm this way.
Yes.
And I feel so empty. And again, it's just making it about herself, but she's not letting herself sort of like heal from whatever happened in her childhood and whatever went wrong with her family.
Right.
Yeah. And it's kind of, a lot of these characters do that thing where the things that they're saying to other characters are actually about them, kind of.
About themselves.
Themselves,
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Because she says that to Eric, doesn't she say, like, oh, what is the line that she says? Something one of you guys said earlier reminded me of it.
Yeah, something about love.
Yeah.
He can't give love because he feels unworthy of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, you're just saying that. I mean, that probably is true of him too, but she's saying that to him and really
Yeah.
could also say that to herself. So,
Right.
Well, on that, I had another thought in this scene where you could draw parallels between Harper and Eric's daughters. Like Harper is what his daughters might become without any genuine love and attention from him, which is what they're currently not getting. Like his ex-wife said, he gives, or he talked about how spoiled they were. And she says, you give them everything except what they really need, which is his love and attention.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he's setting up his own daughters possibly for the same trajectory Harper's been on.
Yeah.
Without any kind of like nurturing from her parents or her mother.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that a bad parent is consoling a child over having a bad parent, you know? And it's like,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
I just also find it really interesting because Eric does confess that he's never going to be that parent for his daughters.
children.
So
Yeah.
he understands what's happening. He understands what, the damage he's doing to them,
Right.
mirroring who Harper has become.
Yeah.
But he's not going to do anything to actually change that.
Yes, exactly. It's so strange.
Yeah.
I mean, they're being very honest, and that's lovely. And I think Eric probably really enjoyed this because he feels like he's been chasing some sort of real relationship or friendship or familial situation with her this whole season, and finally she's come to him and being vulnerable. But it's just also ironic. And
Yeah, they both had really good moments in this scene of the way they were expressing their emotions and stuff, seeing like a realistic progression. It didn't seem like it doesn't make sense for their relationship. Like you can see how this makes sense and how in some ways they kind of are the only people that they're going to break down in front of right now.
Right. And she has nobody. I mean, I don't guess that he does either, but
literally.
Like Yaz is the closest thing she could call a friend that we can see, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess Quabana. And then she,
Maybe
like,
Sweet
you can
Pea.
tell in the end, she wants to call Sweet Pea a friend, but that's not what Sweet Pea's calling it at that point. So she really has nobody. I mean, it's her own fault, but that's why she has to go to Eric. It's just,
Yeah, it's a good point that you made, Aubrey, that they've earned this. Their relationship has earned this moment between them. But I was really glad that it stayed within the confines of a worker relationship, friendship relationship even, and didn't cross any lines.
Yeah.
Because I've been getting nervous about them like in these moments all season long.
Right.
And they didn't hug. And I was really grateful they did, because I was afraid that would feel too much or something. But he was just like comforting her and holding her hands at the end of the thing. But that felt appropriate. Like I was like, I can handle this.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it just feels familial and friendly or whatever. However, he's getting so like inappropriate sexually that I could still see it going poorly in the future.
I know.
I really hope he doesn't, but yeah.
I also really hope he doesn't.
I don't know if I will call that comforting. I don't know if he was like, again, because I don't think what he was saying was, like hopeful for her or anything like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It was. I think it's nice for her to like sort of have that vulnerability from Eric as well.
Yeah.
And that might be comforting, but I don't think
he wasn't doing a great job of making her feel.
But I don't think she wanted that either. I don't think she's capable of
receiving it.
I don't think she would have perceived it that way.
Yeah.
She would have found maybe more of an attack than.
Agreed.
And that kind of thing can come across as fake sometimes too, because especially like their relationship has not been where, oh, I'm so sorry, let me hug you. Like it's more like we're going to be honest about this. And
although he did call her undeniable, and I think that was a stretch. That's all. That's as far as honesty goes. I'm not sure she's there yet.
Maybe he was being honest about how he felt, though. You know, like
Well, and Raquel, I think you said this earlier. Essentially, this because I had this note that it's interesting how Harper is opening up about having a toxic relationship with her mother, while Eric is confessing being a toxic or detached parent with his own daughters at the same time. And she even reinforces. I don't know if, he says, they don't make me feel substantial. And she says they really should. Like she's calling him out on like, this is a bad relationship you have with your daughters. Yeah, it's so weird to me because I don't know, was it season 1 when his daughters were younger? He didn't seem to be a bad dad. I mean, he seemed pretty engaged with his kids.
A little absent, I think.
Probably because of, for work. But when he was with them, I didn't get that sense that he didn't want to be there, like that he was talking about.
I don't remember a lot about the first season, but I do seem to remember him not being all that involved, whether that was because of the divorce or what was going on. I do think that's been a line.
But I remember when he was with them, he seemed to be I just didn't get a sense that he was a bad dad back then. They were the ones making comments like, when are you going to go back to work? And he's like, don't you want me here?
That probably should be a sign that he's probably not a very good parent.
Bad dad.
The kids don't want to spend any time with him.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about how her mom died running down the stairs after an Amazon delivery? I don't think I actually believe this, but with Whitney's recent insane villainy, the first thing that popped in my head after hearing what a weird accident was is that Whitney did it. I mean, someone for Whitney. I very much doubt it's true, but because of the things he's been doing, that is what popped in my head immediately.
It's easy to just assume that Whitney did anything bad that happens. We're just like, it's probably Whitney. Like,
yes, exactly.
Really.
Anywhere on the globe.
Yes.
I liked Eric's phrasing when he's talking about what his daughter did. That's in the scene, right? Where he explains.
Yeah, and that's awful.
The catfishing and all of that.
Right.
And he says, meticulous fucking cruelty.
Yes.
I was like, that is a very good way to phrase it, and also not unlike what a lot of characters on the show have done to each other.
Right.
Yeah.
You can almost see his daughter saying, I learned it by watching you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought Myha'la and Ken Leung did amazing in the scene, and this gave them some really good material. Like, I feel like they've been great the whole season, but this was more emotional content for them to do, and they did great. I love them together as scene partners.
Yeah, I was gonna say them together is as much as their characters drive me nuts. I love seeing them play off each other. Sweet Pea starts her investigative journey at the address they have for Swift GC, which appears to be a little post office box thingy. She pays the man for a phone number for Swift GC, and when she calls it, she's forwarded to Tender's usual call center. Okay,
when she was about to do the bribe, though, she had this amazing moment where she's reaching into her purse to get the money. She goes like, I can, and then like rolls her eyes at herself, like about to offer this bribe, and then pulls the money out. I just love those little comic moments, and I thought she did great with the delivery of that line and the delivery of the action that she was doing. So,
Kwabena is unimpressed with her findings so far. While they wait for 2 hours before they finally see Tony Day trying to leave the building, and they rope him into a meeting for 5 minutes. Obviously, they lie about their short position, make it out that they're happy with their long position, and just in the area looking at different local companies. But Sweet Pea's questions are pointed enough, he gets suspicious. She really chokes when he asks what other investments they're looking at. Thankfully, Kwabena steps in with some answers. I was actually surprised Sweet Pea wouldn't have prepared for that question. She's always so competent and
me too.
Good at this stuff.
Yeah.
But his local knowledge came in handy.
Yes, yeah.
He looks up from his snacking long enough to supply a quick answer and then go back to what he was doing.
I love him.
I just love that part when he was like, oh, I've got 5 minutes, but I'm going to provide all of these snacks.
Right?
Just for the 5 minute meeting. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with her outfits in this whole episode.
Mm.
Yeah.
That blue suit and her cool watch that she had on, she was looking great.
The watch was really nice.
Looking very professional and very snazzy, and I loved it.
I also kind of like Kwabina's outfit, his jacket
Yeah.
and like
Oh, yeah.
matching shirt. They both look good.
Yes.
I also found it interesting though, because he was complaining about the aircon not being working. And then she's like with a full-on jacket,
Yeah.
socks. I'm like, is it hot? Is
Looking
it
cool.
cold?
Yeah. It's a good question.
This is where she first said that she was from Mauston Asset Management. So that was the start of the, oh, wait, she's lying about where she's from, where she's coming from. And I was like, that might be the worst place to say,
Right.
because I don't think, like, if anybody calls you on that, they're not going to back you up at
Right.
all. But I guess she had no other place she could say, really, that would make any sense.
Yeah. Anyway, though, Tony tells him time's up and they hit the streets to try another angle. The lawyer that was involved with the Swift GC acquisition that merited that $50 million giant vanity check. When they meet with the lawyer, he is unimpressed with Kwabina's attempt at humor and Sweepy's line of questioning, which he quickly finds to be rude. Kwabina still thinks they're on the wrong track. Nothing they found so far has changed his mind, and he manages to convince her to go to a beach bar. Sweepy is feeling real sensitive about Kwabina's attitude about their chances of success, and then she gets real with him. Before taking Harper's job offer, she searched for another job, and she couldn't get one, all because of her siren video, which she thinks Rishi was behind, so that's why she hates him with quite that much passion. Kwabina asks how her family took the situation, and she tearfully tells him that she thought she and her mom were so close, but her mom never acknowledged it happening at all. And then he leaves her to sing some karaoke.
Sweepy has several lines in this episode that I thought were really good, like well written, but also very kind of encouraging almost and real. They just seemed really real.
Yes, so real. I agree.
She said, I have given this my full fucking attention, and that is a finite resource. That is why the outcome matters. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
actually really good.
Yeah.
I really like that too.
And she says something, I mean, the thing about Rishi, it's basically her gut feeling, right? She doesn't have proof that he's the one who outed her. And I think for her, she said something to the, I didn't take down her quote, but something to the effect of sometimes you have to go with what seems to make sense, or kind of Occam's razor, I guess.
Something about her stomach. It was a weird way of saying it.
Like a gut feeling, basically, I think.
Yeah,
is
but
what she
yeah,
was trying
she
to
didn't
say.
say that way, which I thought was interesting.
She worded it differently.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's how I took it, but no proof. So I guess he could have done it. I wouldn't put it past him.
I think, I mean, given the relationship that she had with him, relationship in quotes, just their time that they were together at Pier Point and everything, and the way that she saw him, that would add up for her, you know?
Mhm.
It would make sense, but I would also like to know when that happened, because
Seemed like between the seasons, right?
yeah, so I don't know, it feels like this sort of Rishi that I don't know what he would have got from that.
Right.
It didn't seem to be in that sort of just mean for the sake of being mean.
Mhm.
Yeah, if it was retaliation for something, but for what? I understand that he's skeevy in this way and maybe he could have done it, but I don't understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah, in between the seasons, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but
Unless it was something that he profited off of. I don't know.
yeah, same.
And I was just gonna say that this episode has a lot of examples of complicated relationships with parents that she was describing with her mother, who it sounds like they're close, but this was something that her mom won't talk to her about, and it broke her heart. That was
Yeah, it was
sad.
very sad.
Yeah, that's on the list of bad parents in the show. It's literally everybody that we've met.
Literally everyone. While Kwabena is singing, Tony Day calls Sweepy and calls her out. He knows she was lying, he knows who she is, and once she reveals she knows of Jim Diker, he becomes more intrigued. Turns out Diker had promised him some routes to extricating himself safely from the situation he's found himself in. He hadn't heard about Diker's death yet, but after he does, he warns Sweepy of impending danger on the beach. Kwabena's still really into his karaoke, and Sweepy gets assaulted to the sounds of him singing Eyes Without a Face, the name of the episode. God, that punch was so awful. I mean, so was the cheek lick, but her head hitting the mirror like that. I thought she was going to be more hurt than she even was, like the back of her head.
Yeah.
The stunt was, yeah, like perfect. It like really looked like she got
Right.
hit into that mirror.
It did.
No cuts.
Yeah.
The shots of her out on the beach, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's beautiful.
totally agree. Yeah.
Oh, from behind as well. Like that was really cool.
hmm
Yeah.
And the close up on her face with like the sun, kind of half sunset,
Behind. Yeah.
beautiful.
Very pretty.
So we learned from this that Tony is the source that Jim had referred to with Burgess when he said like we hadn't been totally sure who that was.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
So did Tony instigate this attack?
I'm unsure.
I don't think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I wasn't sure. I was in these bit, but when they have the conversation afterwards, he said like he knows there's people that are listening.
Right.
So I think they're being followed.
It was good that he warned her, even though it didn't help.
Yeah, they didn't really help at all, but yeah.
So guess who probably did it? You guys want to guess?
Okay,
At the same time?
All the way from London.
The gummy eater, gummy villain.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, Whitney every time, guys.
And it seemed too much of a coincidence to me that it wouldn't be related at all, that she just randomly had an isolated attack.
It's weird that Kwabena asked that question. I was like, what? Obviously she was targeted, you idiot.
Yeah.
Kwabena's not fully invested until towards the end of this.
Maybe after that attack as well. I think the fact that they've been targeted also means that there's clearly, well, they already know that there's something going on, obviously, but it's getting a bit personal now as well.
But Kwabena is just like along for the ride, kind of, like up until later, because he keeps being like, why are you taking this so seriously and doing all this work for this?
Oh, the conversations afterwards. Yes, that's true.
I think, though, he feels somewhat protective of her after this, probably.
Yeah.
Because he stays up after they have sex or gets up very early and starts like digging into the stuff for her.
Exactly.
Because I don't know. I think it was nice. I also really liked his reaction when he's singing and then he sees her face. It's like, dramatic.
Not really.
Yeah.
Very appropriate.
Yeah. And also because he had the microphone.
Right.
I felt like if somebody is watching, like you're making it obvious.
You just yelled into it. Yeah.
And drops the mic. Yeah.
So this is definitely showing that even if Tony is a part of Tender, he's a willing participant, but at the same time, I feel like whatever he's gotten himself into, he feels trapped and he can't get out. So he's looking for the pathways to get out safely and would be willing to talk if he can get protection.
Right. I can't believe that Whitney wouldn't kill him at this point, though, knowing that they visited him.
Yeah, I know.
She very loudly.
Maybe it's coming.
Yeah. If I were him, I would leave this second.
Tony should be very scared.
Yeah. Kwabena could be angrier in this next scene, but Sweet Pea is furious. And I like that she says because she loves her nose. I loved when she said that. And I also love her nose, so I get it.
Beautiful nose.
She does.
She looks so pretty and with all of the bruises.
I know.
A possibly broken nose.
Still gorgeous.
So pretty.
And then she forces him to admit he watched her siren video. While she's at it, she keeps going. Is Harper a good fuck? Are you a porn addict? He throws it right back at her and asks what she thought of the bird who got tag teamed. She ups the game and asks him what kind of person he likes to fuck. And against his better judgment, he admits she's his type, small blonde white women, and he's not proud of it. Forgive me, Dr. Umar, he said. But he also likes to be held. And so the next scene is pretty obvious. She invites him to fuck her in the dark, and hopefully she held him afterwards.
So I thought it was interesting. He's confirming that he was lying to Harper when they were in their sex scene from the first episode.
Yeah.
Do you get the sense, does Harper like him like in a genuine way? Because there've been all these moments.
I don't think she likes anybody in a genuine way.
I guess not, but that's why her scenes have been strange to me when she's like at the bar and she's confessing apparently that she fucked someone else, which was 2 months prior. I don't understand why these things keep coming up when she just seems to have casual relationships.
I think she likes him more than she thinks she does or more than she wants to.
Is letting on, that wants to admit.
Yeah, I feel like it's the other way. Like, I feel like she would want to like him more than she does. Like, I think he would be a nice person to allow herself to.
But even the scene I'm remembering from the first episode where she's like asking him about Sweet Pea specifically, like, don't tell me you've never fantasized about her. And did you watch her video? And he tells her she's not my type. And it seems strangely jealous or relationshipy for Harper, which isn't typical for her character.
Yeah.
I think she's very insecure in a way she really doesn't want to be.
Right.
And I think it was similar to like
Robert.
She seemed to maybe like Robert a little bit, and then obviously she very early on understood that he liked
Yes.
I don't know.
I do just get the impression, because in the last episode, or the one where they're at the bar, like that Rachel was just talking about, and she tells him about having sex with Whitney, and then he's like, it's fine. I still just got the impression that she was doing that as like an escape route for him because she was trying to push him away because she might feel something more for him.
Okay, that could fit.
So I'm at this point, especially at the end of this episode too, because of the way she reacts when Sweet Pea tells her about
Right.
them sleeping together, which we'll get to, but like those two scenes had a little sprinkle of like, I can see something in Harper where she's maybe
Catching
resisting
feelings
feeling
or
something
resisting.
beyond just a casual hookup thing. But I don't know.
Right.
I could see that, but also because like the conversation she had with Eric earlier, I don't think she's capable of that. And the way I've seen it from the beginning of the season is that she would maybe find that he is somebody she can have feelings for, but she wasn't getting there. And with like the sweet pea thing, I think it's more like her own insecurities
Mm-hmm.
than real feelings. It's more like she wants, again, it's more of this sort of power trip.
Yeah, that could be too. Yeah.
On the scene with Sweet Pea and Kwabena having sex. So you guys were talking in episode 1 about how there's, like Melissa specifically said that there's never been a single scene where it seemed like it's romantic, like the sex scenes. It's always just, like some kinky sex. And I really felt like this was going to be a little bit more soft and romantic, but she's like, oh, pull my hair, like, okay. I don't know.
Maybe if they hook up again.
Maybe it could have been a little bit nicer, or like we could have seen them cuddling post-coital.
Yeah. I was wondering if they even kissed. I guess not, probably. But
Yeah.
it's funny. They did laugh afterwards, at least.
Yeah.
We don't see much kissing on this show. Anybody. I don't know that we ever see much kissing on this show.
I know, but I don't.
That's interesting.
I guess
Harry-
Yasmin Henry,
Yeah, Yas and
kids,
Henry.
yeah.
they have, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, their friendship is nice, Sweet Pea and Kwabena.
Yeah, so
So-
that's what I thought, maybe there could be a real connection there.
I'd be fine with it. I think they're both good people.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I like
Maybe
it.
too good for the
Yeah.
show. Something bad is going to happen to them.
That's why it's harder for me to buy him and Harper because, well, it just makes me sad for him because I feel like
Yeah.
that can't possibly end well if he develops feelings because she just, whether she has them or not, won't own up to them. So
Yeah.
next scene. Oh, gross, Eric. He is currently looking at still shots from Sweet Pea's video when Harper comes in. Harper is being unethical also in a completely different way. She wants to start straight up committing fraud to get more money, faking financials, conspiracy, racketeering.
Maybe doing the exact same thing Tinder's doing.
Yeah, right? And she's
Yeah.
like, well, why shouldn't we if they're doing it? I'm sorry, what?
That's her justification.
The whole world is going to melt down into
Exactly. She says they're doing it. Why can't we?
so crazy. Thankfully, Eric draws the fucking line at going to prison for this trade, and he tells her they need to throw in the towel and liquidate it, except they lost. I mean, she's so crazy. I cannot believe she's gone this far that she would,
It's so reckless.
because you would go to prison, like, without question.
Mhm.
And it's just wild to me that she cannot accept. I mean, this loss is terrible, but
She's incapable of thinking long term on anything. She can't
Yeah.
think any steps ahead. She thinks about the immediate and what it might get her immediately,
Can't see the big picture.
but not the consequences to anything ever.
it stresses me out watching her actions.
Yeah. She hates to lose. That's just the bottom line, really. She just can't accept it.
I've just never seen someone so like driven by it that they like ignore everything else in the world and don't realize just like so fucking drastic. Over breakfast and across, Kwabena sweetly brings medicine for Sweet Pea's fucked up face while she tells him she regrets last night. He doesn't seem to, but he has more important news to discuss anyway. He's done some digging about Swift GC and learned it was acquired from Gold Salt Media, and he's got an in with the family involved with Gold Salt Media. His auntie, who's not really his auntie, but you know, I like that line, got is very small at the top.
When he first said the Gold Salt Media thing and presented it as if this was new information, I was like, okay, I knew that because Sweet Pea just showed him that article earlier.
And it was in there.
Gold Salt on it. And then Sweet Pea seconds later was like, I knew that, to quote
Yeah.
it. And I was like, yes, right? I knew it too. I was paying attention to Sweet Pea. And that was part of what made me think like, okay, so, you know, it's extra evident that he wasn't paying much attention or like giving this serious
Yeah.
thought before when she
Right.
was all in. And now he's like,
It's a good point.
no, wait, actually, I'm going to go all in. And I'm telling you things you already know because I
Yes.
because I wasn't paying attention when you
That's
told me, you know?
How much I wasn't paying attention. Yeah.
But I mean, he does obviously get into new information after that. But like his little reaction when she says, I knew that, he kind of hesitated and was like, okay. Anyway.
Right.
I've got more though.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
So what do you think he's changed his mind? Do you think it's like his relationship with her now?
I think a combination of like what you guys were saying earlier, like she was attacked. He might have thought more about that. But then also, I think he just they had a really good conversation the night before, and he might feel like I'm going to support my friend and actually take this seriously. And maybe something is happening here, and I'm going to at least do whatever I can to help figure that out, you know?
I think even the pre-getting punched conversation probably weighed heavily with him when she said, I can't get a job anywhere else. Like, this is actually my, like, that was all very vulnerable and sad. And I think it probably made it more real to him that it's not just this trade and Harper's pride on the line. So I don't know. I think just the aggregate of all of that evening at the bar was probably.
And the attack, I think, also probably made him realize that they're getting close to something and they're trying to silence them or scare them, intimidate them or something, send them home or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's like, okay, let's dig deeper because there's something going on here.
Right. Yeah, it's like when the lawyers overreacted to their
line of questioning.
You can just tell that there's something going on that's making them right. Exactly.
Honestly, how badass is it that Sweet Pea is still like, let's go. My nose is broken. Let's fucking go.
I know.
I think she made this comment a few times, like it fueled her fire even more. Like she's amped up now. As she kept saying, I'm amped up now.
Right. She's awesome. So they go to meet his auntie's friend, Mrs. Mensah, daughter of Gold Seat Media's recently deceased former chairman, and she finds it absolutely hysterical that anyone would believe that they received $50 million for that shitty empty building and facade of a company. It was basically a real estate deal, she insists, not a large business acquisition.
I loved that Sweet Pea says, thank you so much for the tea, because I'm sure there was literal tea that they had been served, but it also, I saw the double meaning, like this was huge. Like she just dropped such a bomb on them.
It's good gossip, yeah.
I missed that. That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
I did too. So, of course, they go visit the dilapidated building, and finally all of their digging pays off. Swift GC's on the 5th floor, and when they get there, they find an empty office with a couple security guards there to scare off squatters. They're watching TV and hanging up the phone when it probably very rarely rings, probably only when Sweet Pea calls it. And she states the obvious. The whole company is just a facade.
I loved when they were going into the building. I mean, this show...
The whispering.
Occasionally has these great comedy moments, and she's just like, look. And he's just on the floor. Why are we whispering?
I know. I love that too.
So funny.
I find it really funny that they went upstairs because I thought that building was empty and I wouldn't have bothered.
You wouldn't have even bothered?
No, because like it didn't feel like it's going to be anywhere inside.
Like, what are you going to find? Yeah.
Right, you have your conclusion.
It really looked empty and deserted.
I was just thinking like files.
Yeah, but like not even that. It just really looked like, they weren't going to find anything, which again, obviously they did, so that was really good. But yeah. I would be a really bad investigator.
Funny because when you said that just now, I thought you were implying, you're like, I'm surprised they took the stairs. I'm like, wait, you think they'd take an elevator in that building?
Oh, no.
I understood your actual point.
I just wouldn't even go inside.
Like, why go in at all?
Yes.
Like, clearly, this is a condemned building.
Right. The answer's in front of you without going upstairs, right?
I'd be a little bit worried about like falling through the floor or something.
Definitely.
I doubt it's structurally sound.
Which I've done twice, so I don't want to do it a third time.
You've fallen through 2 floors?
Yeah. Not fallen all the way through, but my leg has been through. My leg fell through
just the leg.
My ceiling here in my house during some construction when I was like, oh, exciting, I'm going to walk up there. And it was not ready for me to put weight on it. The entire bathroom ceiling came down with my foot. That was fun.
Oh no, not funny. Sorry.
No, it is funny now in retrospect. And then I stepped through my grandparents' ceiling in the attic once where there was like insulation where you're not supposed to step. And I just put my foot there and went through. So you think I would have learned from the first one, but I've done it twice. And now hopefully I really have learned.
I think you learned from the second one.
Yeah.
I love how when they walk into this room, which looks empty, it looks like there's nobody in there, but then there's somebody at this table going, who are you? Or something like that.
That was startling. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very startling. And just such a great moment when she's confused. Where are they? This is supposed to be the office. This is supposed to be the place. Calls the number and the phone rings behind her. And we see him pick it up and put it down. And then it goes to the on hold message that Harper heard when she was trying to call Tender. And then Sweet Bee kept hearing. And then we finally get this real life moment of this is the setup. And it's just, I love that was the reveal. Like it was really satisfying to me.
I also love how every time they call that line, I mean, obviously it has the whole music, but it has Enya playing.
Orinoco Flow.
Yeah. It's funny.
I've been trying to figure out why would they pick that song of all songs to put in their background, but why not?
Soothing. Yeah. Yeah, I agree though. It's this turn where you're starting to put things together, and the next scene in particular is so exciting. Like, you feel Sweet Pea's excitement that it's all coming together and that it's like more than we thought, or it's actually a totally different thing that's much bigger than we realized. So it was a nice payoff moment in the next scene when
it's excellent.
reveals it all.
And because she's so excited, you get excited with her as well.
Yeah, exactly. You've wanted this for her the whole episode.
Yeah.
Eric's waxing philosophical again with Harper. What do they even get out of it if they were right? But that attitude's about to change. Sweet Pea calls ecstatic. The thing is nothing, she repeats twice before explaining. Even Diker had grossly underestimated the scope of Tender's lies and illegality. They weren't just processing illegal payments. They weren't even processing any payments at all. The payment processing businesses are all an illusion. The acquisitions and revenues are all just straight up lies. Kwabena points out that they were too arrogant to think anyone would ever do something so simple as knock on the door, but Sweet Pea knocked on the fucking door. They also think they can get Tony Day to whistleblow if they can give him a way out, and then Sweet Pea and Kwabena hang up and scream in the parking lot, and Harper has the brilliant idea to use her new conference panel to ignore what she's supposed to talk about, women in finance, and blow this shit up instead. Although perhaps she could merge the topics and talk about how badass Sweet Pea is. There's a woman in finance for you.
True.
It is not her, though, so she probably won.
Yeah.
Right.
I do think that this is once again so impulsive, though, because I'm like, think through the con. Like, have we reached the point where you want to reveal it yet? Or are you still building your case? And maybe it would be better to hold your cards until you have something more solid.
Well, that's what Eric says, right? Like, there's no evidence yet. But she's like, oh, we got a story now. People are going to believe it. It's like, okay,
which I guess she's just looking for an urgent solution to the margin problem.
Yeah, because they've got, what, 40 hours, Kenny said?
Because investors only need to believe that something's shady. They don't need proof for them to start
panicking,
backing off of, and for it to affect Tender's stock. I think she's right about that, but I think it's also...
Well, now Tender's going to know they know, you know?
Yeah,
it's like...
exactly. It's showing her hand to them, too. I mean, Whitney's already suspected that she's doing that, but now that they have stuff, it'll also tip him off that they've talked to Tony and that they've been to the fake facade. I mean, all of those things, maybe they're jumping the gun before they have substantiated proof, but Whitney knows they're only a few steps away from actually obtaining it, probably. So,
I mean, I would start getting scared of somebody coming after me and killing me at this point.
Yes, that is the thing.
Like
here.
the body pile behind, I mean,
because Whitney.
The people who are involved with this, who keep getting hurt or killed, because I don't know if this is connected, but I did wonder when they were talking to Mrs. Mensah, the chairman had died. Because I've come to suspect, like, when, you know, somebody's been hurt or if there's a death, it's like, is it connected to Whitney somehow?
Yeah, it's a valid question.
So we're all assuming it.
Yeah.
I also thought that maybe the first assistant realized something or was trying to, like, whistle blow something and he got rid of her too.
That's still a big mystery.
I know. I want to know.
I really hope that gets answered.
They cannot drop
it. It really annoy me if they don't.
Yeah.
We just need like you were saying something about body count earlier. We just need a list of everybody that Whitney has killed or had killed.
And all the people who he's pissed off. I mean, it's probably for his own entertainment, but he keeps firing people in these big and humiliating ways that make people hate him.
Right.
But there are also people, a lot of these people who know things, who maybe they have NDAs against them, but maybe it wouldn't take much to get them to talk. And so he's building this army of people who would love to get back at him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's Jonah, there's Robin, and now there's Tony. There's all these people, and the assistant. I think she could, like, be the one to drive the nail. And I mean, she probably knows if she's alive, because there is a suspicion that possibly she's not. I don't know. But I mean, my suspicion is she stumbled on a lot of this stuff and was silenced somehow or threatened. Maybe she was just threatened really bad. But I feel like she probably knows a lot, too, if she's still alive.
Yeah, we need her to pop back up for sure.
I'm feeling like she's probably dead, just as the season has progressed and we've learned more about Whitney, but I hope she's not.
I think the beginning of this, right before they get the call, was when Harper says to Eric, "We're not lying to the world to profit off it." And I was like, do you hear yourself speaking?
Do they ever hear themselves speaking?
They're both such hypocrites.
I mean, I know that in this case they are trying to uncover, in quotes, the truth of something, but it's like they're not doing it because they care about the truth.
No,
exactly.
No. It's because they're going to profit from it.
Right.
Yeah,
she's crazy.
Also, Kwabena has that line about the Ouroboros. And Sweet Pea is just like, I don't know what that is. But anyway,
Oh, yeah.
I like that because I'm like, yeah, I respect that sometimes these characters don't know all these big words and
Yeah.
references.
Exactly.
I did know that one because it's like snake eating its own tail
Yes,
Mhm.
I did
symbol
too.
thing. And I really only knew it because of X-Files because Scully has it tattooed. Anyway,
Oh, you're right.
not relevant to this. But yeah, I like occasionally for a character to be like, actually, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like what is that word?
Yeah, I like when they address that a lot of it is just like lost, or they're like, oh, like they answer it, or like they say like Google this, and like okay, they just
Yeah, that's true. There was a Google this.
sprinkling things like
Yeah.
So basically what they've learned is all of Tinder is basically this like cyclical cycle of nothing where they don't really like it's a house of cards. It's crazy.
It is crazy, but I also feel really crazy that like these investors wouldn't sort of dig into the company they've
Yeah.
putting so much money in. Like I don't know how it works, obviously.
Also the auditors.
Yeah.
How are your auditors approving of all these financials that are just completely fake? I don't know.
I guess that's why he's doing them overseas and stuff so that it's harder to.
Why does he have to go there so much?
Yeah, I don't know that part.
Yeah, I'm still not sure why he has to physically go there once a week.
But is he going though, or is he saying he's going but he's not going?
Well, where is he going instead?
I saw him on a plane
Oh, did we? I don't remember that.
in the last episode. He was on a plane.
On the conference call, when he was sneaking on the conference call, he was on a plane.
A blog Max in a plane.
Oh, yeah. Finally, the first time he's on a plane where it's not terrible.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
Wait, what's the other one?
taking back planes. Just Max on planes.
Oh, stop it. That was rude.
I said I blocked that because I don't remember him on a plane at all.
I'm sorry, we've been talking about it, so I was like, okay.
Fine.
Just from the trailer, we were like, not a plane, no, don't get on that plane. I do kind of want to go back to the very first episode, though, and watch it again now knowing what we know, because I remember when we saw the first episode, we were all kind of like, well, clearly there's some mischief going on behind the scenes, but like what Whitney is saying is actually a good business plan, and he's presenting it like, okay, yeah, actually you should grow this way. But now that we know that it was all a lie, I just kind of want to watch it again with that knowledge and see the way that he's talking to Jonah and everything. And I think it would just be kind of eye-opening to see.
And how does Jonah not know? Like, it doesn't seem like he probably...
He kept him out of the Africa stuff,
He kept him
right?
totally out of the Africa stuff. He didn't even know the name. Didn't he know he not know the name of the guy, the Tony Dade? I don't think he knew his name even. He wanted to meet him. But, well, again, let's rewatch it.
Yeah, we should. Just one more thing about when you guys were talking about him going to Ghana. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't, and he says that he's having these meetings with nobody because there's literally, apart from this Tony guy, there's no one he's actually working with. It's just for the illusion and the visuals that he does that business in Ghana that's worth 50 million.
It seems suspicious, though. Like, people have questioned it, like Yasmin just questioned it. It's a long way to go for such a short trip. And I would think, like, if you don't want people to be suspicious, don't say you're going to Africa every week.
I don't think she was suspicious. I didn't say it that way. I think it was just more a comment of saying it is a short trip.
Even we thought it was suspicious when we were first watching this that he would go to Africa so often, go all the way to Africa once a week. It just seems like a lot. And why? I think it's suspicious behavior. So if he's not really doing it, I don't know why he would tell people he was.
Yeah.
What with the fake businesses, though? I don't know why he would need to go. You know, there's like nothing going on there except to threaten people.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
he's going, what is he doing when he goes?
Right. I would like to find that out.
I think it would make sense for him to like say that he's going to these because he has businesses in Ghana. Like, it wouldn't make sense to meet with the people that running his businesses.
Yeah, because it sounds like you have business.
It could also just be a threatening presence for Tony to have him show up at the office.
Right.
Maybe.
But he said, don't diarize this to Haley. Remember, he's like, I
Right.
want this off
Keep
the
it
books.
off the
He
books.
doesn't want people to know about it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's just all very confusing, and I hope we find out.
Yeah, maybe there's something we don't even have a clue
Yeah,
about
there
yet.
is more than we actually don't know yet.
Yeah.
That's true.
Sweet Pea calls Diker's editor, who's walking his adorable giant dog. I like Burgess. He seems like a decent guy. He tells her honestly that he has doubts that she's the right person to finesse the confession out of Tony Day, and before ending the call, asks her if Diker was right about these guys. He was more right than he knew, which I might feel bad about if he didn't end up being such a douchebag, but here we are. Sweet Pea thinks she's actually the exact right person to turn Day into their whistleblower and storms into his office with intention. Kwabena just looks on, enjoying the show as she aggressively, verbally attacks Tony. He is not enjoying the loudness of the scene, reveals they are definitely being watched and or listened to, and proceeds to whisper to them he needs a route out of this before he helps them. They offer to fly him to Burgess, who will help him with that, and when he still resists, Sweet Pea makes the crucial point that this is his only chance, his tiny window to be a victim in this and not a perpetrator. He can go with them or he can go to prison. She's very good at what she does. It certainly seems like a no-brainer to me, but Day only agrees to consider it. I think he's probably dead after this.
The way that he turned the TV off and then said that I'll consider it, something was strange about that.
Yeah. Like he was saying that for the purpose of being heard? Is that what you mean?
Right. Yes, that for sure. But also just his shift in even the way that he was thinking about it or...
Yeah. I even rewound because I felt that way too, but I couldn't pinpoint anything specifically.
Yeah. I guess it made me wonder if he's playing the victim a little bit more than is the truth.
Oh, yeah, I think he is. I think he's more involved that he's letting.
Yeah. I still think, relatively speaking, he could get off because he can, give them the bigger fish.
As she said, yeah.
Right.
But I agree with you that he's not, blameless.
Yeah, I think there's more to him that we know yet.
Yeah.
And we might never find out.
I liked Sweet Pea's phrase as she's walking in when Kwabena's like, what are we going to do? And she says, we snooker him.
Yeah.
Sounds like she's going full spy or something at this point.
Yeah.
I love it.
I just don't feel like he sort of believe they're big enough to
help him or
to be able to help him, and get him out of...
And protect him.
Yeah.
Which is fair because even the conversation with Burgess seemed like there's not a lot I can do.
Yeah. No, that's why she said snooker him because they're lying. They can't protect him, or they can't promise that they can protect him.
Right.
Are they being naive as well? Because I feel like, is there more that they don't know? Like, do they know about all these body counts?
Yeah, are they protecting somebody that they shouldn't be?
Yeah, or like they don't know the scope of the whole thing. Like they think they do, but is there more that we don't know? And, it's probably more dangerous than they even understand.
Yeah, this could still just be a layer of the onion. They keep peeling back.
Yeah.
They're still in the digging phase, probably. But I did love the dialogue when Tony says, don't you ever get the feeling you're being a little bit above your fucking station here? And she immediately says, never in my fucking life, sir. I just thought that was great.
Yeah.
Again, I think she's been a little bit naive.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's probably true that it's not the end of the story. And the fact that stuff keeps happening to people who get close, and she was actually attacked for getting close to this. They should be scared.
And I feel like the attack should have been a deterrent.
It was intended to be.
Yeah. But the fact that she's taken it further, that means that she's probably more danger than she should know, but she doesn't seem to maybe understand the whole extent of it.
Oh, protect Sweet Pea.
Yeah, and it's just like you guys were saying, it's exciting. The excitement of that is what she's riding on right now. The excitement of uncovering something. She has another really good line in the scene where she says, who fucking cares what incentivizes the truth? I liked that line.
Yeah.
Back at Stern Tow headquarters, Eric's wife and daughter are sleeping over, so he decides to go fuck a young woman's face elsewhere in the hotel while she calls him daddy. Ugh, God, Eric. I don't have any other words for that scene.
Staring at himself in the mirror while it's happening.
Make me feel big. I can't. All of it.
Why did we need that?
We definitely did not need that.
Just a reminder that he is a piece of
shit. Yeah.
Yes. Ugh.
Yeah. Ken is a great actor, though.
Oh, God, yeah.
I keep that in mind at all times, but this was too much. I can't stand Eric now. Harper surprises Sweet Pea when she gets back from Accra. I get the impression Harper's looking for a friend, but Sweet Pea draws that boundary clearly. It sets her off when Harper tries to take responsibility for Sweet Pea's injuries, and she's like, fuck that. Don't condescend to me. You don't get credit for what I did there. I work for you, and I expect to get paid for what I've done in Accra. Also, I fucked your boyfriend. You can see yourself out.
I thought it was really fascinating how Eric has been looking for this closeness with Harper, like a friendship with Harper. And in this scene, you can tell that Harper is looking for that with Sweet Pea. And Sweet Pea's like, dude, we work together. You're paying me. Respect my job and my boundaries and everything. And it's like, again, Harper was just doing that to Eric.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she's trying to, which I mean, is fair for them to want to be friends or to have better communication, of course. But Sweet Pea's right. She works for her and she did her job well and should get the credit for it. And the way Harper said that, it was kind of maybe a little bit devious because she's like, I shouldn't have let this happen. You're my responsibility. And Sweet Pea's like, I see what you're doing. You're trying to take control of something that I
fully
planned.
Controlled. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a thought earlier when Harper has the plan to use the conference to spill the beans on this. She's the one invited. So I guess that makes sense for her to be the one to do it and give the speech, but it also, she'll be standing up there essentially like sounding like, oh, look what I did. And kind of taking credit for what Sweet Pea totally single-handedly unfolded. I mean, Kwabena was along for the ride and he helped. He did help, but I mean, he kind of helped nudge in that direction that got them there. But at the same time, with Harper standing up there, giving the speech of everything, it's going to have the appearance that she's taking credit for uncovering this major thing that Sweet Pea did.
I would say for Sweet Pea's safety, I would maybe prefer that.
It's okay.
That's a good point.
Maybe don't say my name in the speech about this. Yeah.
I also feel like Sweet Pea knows that that's what's going to happen and she's okay with that. But she also, that's what she said, like, I expect to be paid for this. Like,
fair.
And she's also doing it one for, like, obviously, you know, money and that's her job, but also for herself. Like, she said that to Quentin at the beginning. Like, this is her story. She wants to see it through.
Right.
Definitely.
And she's done it. So she has that self-respect herself, whereas I feel like Harper's always wants like the recognition of everybody else, whereas I don't think Sweet Pea is after that as much.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But she has her own.
Yeah.
She has a feeling of internal like pride for what she's done.
Right.
And is like, that's what she was looking for, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Harper is hugging Sweet Pea and was like, you can see her over her shoulder, there was this kind of shift in her expression. I feel like it was reminding me just a little bit of Yaz with Haley in the previous episode. It wasn't quite as pronounced because I do think Harper actually does kind of want to be Sweet Pea's friend, especially when she was like, can I come inside and keep you company? And then Sweet Pea's basically like, no, I'm tired, go. You can tell that Harper really was saying that not because she wanted to keep Sweet Pea company, but because she wanted the company. You know, she was lonely.
Oh,
yeah. For sure.
So there's a difference there, I think. But I just noticed that it's like Harper has that same thing where she can be really sweet to your face. And then it kind of drops a little bit when she's not right face to face with you.
Yeah. Mask.
I do like that parallel that you draw in there because I think both Yaz and Harper have underestimated both Haley and Sweet Pea.
Yeah.
And that's sort of why they're realizing now.
Mm-hmm.
They also both think they're better than they are, I think.
Yeah, that's what I really liked. I know we haven't really got there yet, but Kwabena also says at the end, like, he's making the position in the company clear to Harper. And I like that both Sweet Pea and Kwabena have done that because they're actually proven that they're more competent than Harper has been so far.
Yeah.
Right.
Within the company.
Yeah.
For sure.
She owes Sweet Pea so much for saving her ass here. And Kwabena.
But we don't know if he's actually saved their asses yet. Like, this is not the end of it, surely.
Right. Looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah.
Since Sweet Pea wouldn't let her in, Harper goes back to the hotel for a debrief with Kwabena, who is speaking very admirably about Sweet Pea, how hard she worked, how strong she is for how she's dealt with the siren disaster and everything after. Then he warns Harper not to fuck him again. Not that way. And she agrees, whether that means anything or not. And then she's off to write her big conference reveal. Meanwhile, at Sweet Pea's apartment, she finally allows herself to break down. I mean, it has been so much in the past 24 hours. She definitely needs this moment. I hope she feels better afterwards and it's not just a sign of her overall mental well-being.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a healthy cry to me for all that she's been through.
Right. Absolutely earned it.
I feel like people are likely to underestimate her just on sight. You know, she's a woman, she's beautiful, she has this sort of I mean, if you want to go all the way back to the like the old stereotype of the dumb blonde, like people might on sight assume she's a certain way. She probably has to work so hard to just get people to respect her and to take her seriously. And she really had to like maintain this level of strength the whole time she was over there. She's running this thing. And like she said, a lot is riding on it. She needs this thing to work out. She gets attacked. And she also has the highs of, you know, uncovering all this stuff. And she had a lot of success. It paid off. But then again, I mean, it's so overwhelming. I could see like everything. She's finally alone. She can finally just release anything that may have been pent up or anything. It was a good moment for her, decompressing or just, it must be exhausting.
Yeah, Yeah, she, again, Miriam killing it
Mhm.
Yeah.
in those moments where she's breaking down. It was so good.
I didn't really have a note, but it's something that you already mentioned earlier about is the whole Harper, Kwabena, and Sweepy relationship. Because it does seem like, again, when Harper's with Kwabena, I don't know, some of her facial expressions is like, I don't know, I felt like she was going to ask him to like sleep with her.
Or bring up what Sweet Pea said or something.
Yeah.
But I guess also, I don't know, I kept thinking, I don't know how I feel about the fact that he didn't tell her, which obviously not much time had passed. She just walked into the room. Maybe he will eventually. But also, Harper was the one who basically said, this is casual. We're not
Yeah.
exclusive. Like, I'm sleeping with other people.
I don't think he owns her any explanation.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't know if she is like expecting him to tell her and maybe waiting
No, I
on
don't
that.
think it was that. I don't know. There was a moment when she like looking at him, and it almost felt like she was about to be flirtatious with him.
Hmm.
But then he kind of like cuts her off. I think that's when he says about don't ever fuck me over again.
Hmm.
And I don't think it would have been because she has feelings for him or he's jealous about the whole thing. I think it's more like she's jealous, but no, because she has feelings for him. It's more like she likes to be in control, and the fact that he's sort of moving on.
Hmm.
And that
Yeah.
Sweepy also said, you know what, I've done this. You know the one in charge, even though you are.
Yeah.
Like I'm taking credit for that, and I think sort of put her in her place.
Right.
That was my feeling from it, like my vibe from it.
Yeah, that's a good thought. When he says, don't ever do that again, am I making myself clear? And then she says, Crystal, something about her delivery of that made me go like, what is she up to? I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading into everything because it's Harper.
I thought it was interesting too. I don't have an explanation for it, but I thought it was an interesting delivery as well.
Yeah, no, like there was something in the acting and delivery. Yeah, as you said, like it seemed like there was something else. It wasn't just that conversation that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why it is. I don't know if it was more like her realizing that she can't maybe manipulate everybody,
Yeah.
especially these two.
She's sort of in an opposite position from Whitney because Whitney is making sure that he's surrounding himself by people he can easily manipulate without them having any idea. And she's sort of, I don't think that they're manipulating her, but she's surrounding herself with stronger people
Yeah.
who aren't able to be as manipulated in the same way.
But I think she's surprised by that. I don't think she was
Yeah.
expecting that to be the case.
Right.
All right, I think that's a wrap on our discussion of episode 5. Come back next week for episode 6. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.